It's time!
Oh, man. Ellie, we've got another Broncos showdown slate in prime time. What in the world is going on? Why do we have... It seems like every week we're talking about Broncos, which is not something I want to do. I debated not doing this show at all, but we did miss Thursday night, so we want to make sure that we're bringing you guys at least a couple shows a week. So, we're not going to mess around too much here, Ellie. Broncos going into LA to face the Chargers, division rivalry. Chargers don't have a very good defense. The Broncos, of course, are probably going to break out on one of these games. Is tonight the night? I have no idea. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, let's get into our lineup review from last night's game. Let me pull that up here. So, Eagles, Cowboys. Jake Ferguson is the optimal captain last night. We have a 2-4 situation here. Devontae Smith, Zeke Elliott, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. I went a little heavier on Hendershot than I did Ferguson, but I still got like 40% Ferguson. So, but as you know, if you watched the show last night, I went a little heavier on the Cowboys than I probably should have. It turned into a game at the end, which is nice. But Ellie, what are your thoughts on this? And Jake Ferguson captain, that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. I believe this was the Millie Maker or the $500,000 maker, whatever it was. So
yeah,
it's kind of a crazy ass lineup. I don't know if I would get that weird and throw him into the captain spot, but it worked out, right? Because this was a weird slate. You needed to capture every single touchdown that happened, literally, and this is the lineup that did it. So
I feel like we got pretty close to, like, the sad part is I had about 10% Hendershot captain lineups, and I had very, very, very similar builds to this, just with Hendershot a captain. So hey, rinse, repeat. Let's try it again tonight. Let's try to hit tonight. Throw us a like, guys. We really appreciate that. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so help us out with that. It just takes one click of the button. Let's get us to 50 likes for this. All right, we're gonna try to keep this under 20 minutes. Denver going into LA. Chargers are home favorites, -4.5. There's a 45.5 total here. If you look at the ownership, heavily skewed to the Chargers, as well it should be. There's a couple players on Denver, though, that I'm very interested in this matchup. I expect to probably be doing a lot of 3-3s, maybe some 2-4s with Denver at captain. I do think that Denver could score some more points in this matchup, more than they typically would. But I do like the Chargers tonight. Thoughts on this matchup? And looking at this ownership here, can we be bold enough to play more Denver players and hope that they just have like at least a halfway decent game and score more than 12 points?
So I'll summarize the entire show right now. The Chargers are allowing 26, 27 points per game. Denver can't score against a Pop Warner Pee Wee team. So it really comes down to if Denver's going to show up and score points against LA. I know that's really groundbreaking analysis for the NFL, right? The person that scores more points is going to win. But this is where we're at, right? I mean, what is the Broncos offense averaging? Like, 3.5 points per game? I think the Yankees had a better offensive average than what Broncos are putting out. So, that's what we need to keep an eye on. And I think that's going to open up a little bit of the Denver options here, man. I think everybody's going to be a little bit shy to play them just because LA has a little bit carrying behind their name. But they're a bad defense right now. And I think Denver can exploit that. This is a get-right spot for Denver. Oh, yes. Man, I'm sorry I'm telling that to everybody.
I know. So the Chargers, obviously Keenan Allen is out again. He's been out for a few weeks now, which is definitely hurting their offense for sure. You're talking about the best guy on this team, at least receiving wise. They still have Eckler. They still have Mike Williams. They still have a decent offense. And look, we got Justin Herbert. We've yet to see him really, really break out weeks in a row. But they're still a good offensive team. When you go to Denver, obviously Javonte Williams is out for the season. Melvin Gordon is questionable with a neck/ribs injury. I don't know what that means, but all right. Saubert questionable, and Dulcich questionable as well. So with Melvin Gordon being with the Q tag here, obviously we want to keep an eye on the inactives. I'm sure he'll be active. I'm sure he'll play. I'm sure he'll get the start. But with the Q tag here, he's already sort of on the shit list with all the fumbles. Can we rely on Melvin Gordon a lot in this game, or do we want to sprinkle in a little bit more Mike Boone tonight?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be. I just don't think that they're high on Melvin Gordon in the first place. As soon as Melvin Gordon struggles, it could be very limited snaps for him. I don't want to give away like my value play of the day, so we can wait till we get to running back. But I don't know. I think you have exposure with the field to Melvin Gordon, and then kind of look at some of the backups.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to. All right, let's get into our breakdown here. Here we go. Break it down. All right, so Justin Herbert's 11K, Russell Wilson's 10K. What do we do here, man? Are we gonna let Russell Wilson kick our ass again by playing a lot of him? He should be high owned for whatever reason. I don't know what to think, man. I'm just tired of seeing Russell Wilson's face. Are you?
I am 100% tired of seeing this corny ass dude everywhere. Like, first of all, I have no idea if he's ever actually slept with Sierra. That might just be a publicity stunt. Um, but look, the thing that I want to point out is I'm just kind of erasing his name from my memory. The Chargers have given up 16.8, 17.3, 25.1, 15.8, 15.4 points to quarterbacks. That includes Davis Mills, Jacoby Brissett, the grandstanding Derek Carr. I don't know why I called him that. Right, but anyways, like they're like, and Trevor Lawrence, they gave up 38 points to the.
I know.
Look, man, I'm gonna play him. It's simple. I'm gonna play both quarterbacks here. Justin Herbert, I actually do want to talk about for instance. I think that he's an interesting captain option. I know that he's expensive as hell, but he could have, I mean, look at this fantasy output, like 27, 23, 24 points. That's optimal type captain production.
For sure.
If he's sitting at his 15 to 17, then that's something that you need in the flex. But if he's coming in a little bit underowned at the captain spot, I don't think getting some exposure to him.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I don't think he will. I think he'll be top 2, maybe top 3. I think both quarterbacks will be pretty high owned at the captain spot. I might just avoid all of the, I might avoid them altogether. Look, Denver does have a decent defense. They're not terrible. I think they can put some pressure on the quarterback here. You look at that defense first position first, and the other way around, just 30 seconds. So we could see some fireworks here. We could see some sloppy play. These aren't two great teams, but look, this is a division rivalry. Anything can happen. Russell Wilson could come out and throw for 4 touchdowns, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be pissed, but I wouldn't be surprised. Let's move on to running back here. So let's go through. Let's not go team by team. Let's just look at all these running backs here. So Ellie, talk to me. We got 11.4K Austin Eckler. I think he's as close to a lock in this matchup as you can get. I'm all about him at captain and in the flex, but he's going to be very popular. And look, he's very expensive. So what do we do here with these running backs? Are you interested in guys like Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the Denver side of the ball, I'm interested in pretty much whoever's going to lace him up and play the running back position. Let's see. In week 1, what is their name? The Chargers, they gave up 18 points to the running back position. Each week they've gotten progressively worse. And I know it was against Cleveland, but they gave up 38.6 fantasy points in total last week to the RB position, right? And then just to put it into perspective, they gave up 35 the week before to the Houston Texans, who have Dameon Pierce and Rex Burkhead. Yes, that guy.
This is in 2015. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So look, man, play Melvin Gordon if he's limited or hurt and you don't like him. Play some of these backup guys. But to your point, Austin Eckler's a lock, in my opinion. Mike Boone, I'm going to have a shitload of him at 4,800. I'm not touching Kelly or Michelle. Those prices are just a little bit too crazy for me.
Yeah.
And then we get to my guy, Latavius Murray.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have? He had a pretty solid week last week, right? Like,
well, it was the week
14
before.
attempts.
Well, he was inactive last week, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're talking about when he was on the Saints for 1 week, which was week 4.
Yeah,
they signed him the next week. He was inactive. He may be active today. I mean, considering that Melvin Gordon is a little banged up, And there's a good chance that Melvin Gordon will get benched at some point in this game potentially because he's going to fumble on the first drive. I mean, it's very possible. That's why I'm kind of hesitant on Melvin Gordon, a guy who, first of all, is banged up. Second of all, is in the doghouse. They could just sit his ass right away. I don't know. But to me, that means potentially Latavius Murray will be active. And if he's 1,600, Lat Murray is the prototypical screw a slate up and score 2 touchdown type guy. That's just who he is.
Mhm.
He will be playing until he's 45 with some teams and coming in and scoring touchdowns. That's just who he is at this point. 1,600 for him is not bad, but I am interested in Mike Boone. You're looking
Yeah.
at a guy who is very underrated, former Viking. I'm correct, right? Former Viking.
Yeah.
This guy can cause some trouble here. We saw last week 7 attempts, 38 yards, 3 targets, 47 yards receiving. And at 4,800, that is appealing to me. I'd rather choose him over any of these backups for the Chargers. Now, Josh Kelly can score random touchdowns sometimes, but like I said, that's very random. Most likely, Austin Eckler is going to be getting those opportunities in the red zone. Any interest in a Zigbo at 200 just as dart throw?
Yeah, man. So for the Denver side of the ball, it literally is going to come down to the inactive support. I don't give a shit who's active for the running back position there. I'm playing them. If it's a Zegbo, it's a Zegbo. If it's Melvin Gordon, it's Melvin Gordon. If it's Jimmy Johnson, I'll play Jimmy Johnson. So, it is what it is.
All right, let's move to wide receiver. So, excuse me, Cortland Sutton 8,400 is very appealing to me in this matchup. He's going to get the volume. I don't care how bad the team sucks. He's going to be getting his targets. You look at week 1, 7, 11, 10, 7, 11. Now, he's not getting a lot of touchdown volume because this team in general isn't getting a lot of touchdown volume. But even as a floor, you're looking at a guy who's probably going to get you 10, 12 fantasy points on a bad night. To me, throwing him in at captain and a lot in the flex, I feel very safe with the output there. And you never know, he could have himself a 2 touchdown game. He is a very dominant wide receiver. They just need to get him the damn ball more. So I'm very interested in him at captain. He's probably my favorite wide receiver play. Now look, Mike Williams, we know about Mike Williams. We know that in the past he's sort of been boom or bust, but he's been more consistent with Keenan Allen out. We saw that one game he came in, I believe it was against Kansas City, when he came out and absolutely dominated. He had a bad game against Jacksonville, but that's because they got their ass kicked. And besides that Jacksonville game with Keenan Allen out, he has crushed it. So very interesting captain spot, very interesting flex spot, but you're looking at a guy that's 10.6K. So he's going to be a little bit more expensive. So Ellie, talk to me about these wide receivers. Name off some prices for our podcast listeners, and let's get into this.
Yeah, so after Mike Williams got Judy at 7K, Josh Palmer 5,800, DeAndre Carter at 2,600, and KJ Hamler at 3,000. I mean, we'll start here at the top. Jerry Judy, I think he's an excellent captain option at that price, and he's boomer bust. So I think you can probably play him a little bit more at the captain than you will at the flex. But just given his 7K price tag, I think I'm going to have some exposure to the flex here too. The Broncos, I'm sorry, the Chargers are, yeah, guess what? They're doing spectacular against the wide receiver position too. I mean, they're 22nd in points given up to wide receivers. I mean, they're averaging damn near 27 points per game to the position. So it that bodes well for big play guys, and I like Jerry Judy because of that. And then on the other side of the ball, right, we're going to need to determine what we're going to do with Josh Palmer and DeAndre Carter. These guys are going to see an increased workload, continue to get the ball with Keenan Allen out. And I think that these guys that are going to help take the pressure off of Mike Williams a little bit here, because what do we have to remember when we're dealing with the Broncos? Is Pat Surtain
Pat
the second
Surtain,
is going to be
yep.
covering. He's
Yep.
going to be shadowing the best wide receiver, and that's Mike Williams. So I think you have to have a little bit of exposure to Palmer and DeAndre Carter. I mean, this could easily be a 35-point performance from the Chargers in a pretty high scoring game. So I think it's something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
another guy that I'm interested in here is KJ Hamler. I saw a little blurb in I don't know, maybe it was Twitter or local radio, but they were talking about KJ Hamler kind of earning the right to get a little bit more involved in the Denver offense. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means two more targets and another field goal, or if they're actually going to start throwing him the ball, and maybe he gets a touchdown or two. But at 3K, I'm not particularly opposed to him. I think I'll have a little bit of exposure.
Kendall Hinton to me is interesting at $200. Who knows if he sees the field a lot, but he, based on the numbers this season, if you just look at it as a whole, you're looking at a guy. Where's he at? Kendall Hinton. I don't know if this is accurate, but in 3 games, he's at 68% of the snaps. That seems wrong to me, but I trust Add More Funds. They seem to be on top of it. So 68% of the snaps when he does play, that's pretty interesting for a guy that's at $200. So it's definitely a bullet or a dart throw here with Kendall Hinton, but $200. We love our $200 guys. See Ferguson and Hendershot. All right. So anything else to add here before we move on?
Nope.
All right, so tight ends. Gerald Everett, a wide receiver playing tight end, 5,600. Saubert is questionable, so keep an eye on that. Look out for inactives. If Saubert's out, are you interested in Albert O at all, even though he's been kind of phased out of this offense?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if they consolidate all of Saubert's targets to him, then I think between the two of them, you're looking at 15% of the targets. But unless Saubert's out, I just don't want much of Alberto. There's just too much going on there. I do like Jared Leverett a lot, though. On the Chargers side, he seems to be a little bit of a safety blanket for Justin Herbert. So I think that he kind of at his price again, like I'm just gonna have a decent amount of him.
You got guys like Trey McKitty at 200, Andrew Beck and Tomlinson, always a risk for a random touchdown at 200. There's a lot of $200 guys that I would risk playing because you're just looking for that one random touchdown from them, especially in a game like this where the Broncos might not score a lot of points. If Andrew Beck gets a couple receptions and a touchdown, that could change everything at $200. Same with Tomlinson. Let's move over to kickers. Dustin Hopkins, 4K, Brandon McManus, 3,800. Kickers seem to be dominating lately. I hate playing kickers. I think they should remove from fantasy, but that's besides the point. Any interest in kickers? You got to just be exposed with the field at this point, right?
Yeah, play one, don't play both, and that'll be my motto for the rest of the season.
Chargers defense 4,400, Broncos defense 3,400. Any interest in Broncos defense? And Chargers defense going up against Russ is kind of appealing too.
Yeah. Look, I don't mind it. A little bit of exposure there. They're probably going to come in pretty low owned. But I, I'm not going to be too heavy on them. Kind of like last night. I think that this is one of those scenarios where you could actually end up into a high scoring game because you have two pretty good quarterbacks, right? Last night you had two pretty good defenses that were keeping everything down a little bit. Last night, I think tonight you're going to have two pretty decent quarterbacks, even though Russell Wilson has sucked for majority of his year. I do think that this is probably going to hit the over, so I'm just not as interested here in the defenses.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Broncos could always pick one up and run one back. That's all you need really in a game like this. All right, let's get to our captain choice, our crown their ass.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Favorite tournament options here for DraftKings. Ellie, Mike Williams, obviously me, Sutton. These are tournament options and shit. I mean, you could probably do some Sutton at cash or whatever, but if you're playing, small tournaments, single entries, head to heads or whatever, I probably wouldn't use these guys. I'd probably use the quarterbacks or Eckler most likely. But these are great tournament options. It'd probably be the 4th and 5th highest owned captains. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Anything else to add here?
No, man. I think you're right on.
All right, fade of the night.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Ellie, you're not interested in fading anybody. I'm just fading Broncos showdown slates. I think that's the kind of way to do it. I'll just be a little bit less lineups tonight. I'm not going to spend as much time hand building. I'm just going to plug in my shit into the optimizer and let it ride because who knows what the hell is going to happen tonight. That's kind of why we're going through the show a little bit faster. You just don't know what team is going to show up when it comes to the Broncos, and you don't know what team's going to show up when it comes to the Chargers. Is this going to be the 10-point output that they put up against Jacksonville, or are they going to come out and score 48 points? I just don't know. I have no damn clue. All right, let's get to our lineup build. We're going to quickly build a few lineups together. This is the Opto just no settings or anything like that. Eckler at captain, Trey McKitty, DeAndre Carter, Sutton, Mike Williams, and Justin Herbert. I hate it. Let's get rid of this. Let's build with Austin Eckler first because I think he will be the highest owned captain and well deserved. So how can we get different here with Austin Eckler? Do you want to do like a 4-2 here with Broncos, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, let's start with 4-2.
Sorry,
let's
4-2
see
with
if we can
two
do-
Broncos. My bad. Go ahead.
Let's see if we can do Herbert and Russ and just see where we're at.
Okay. I say we plug in one of these $200 guys right off the bat. Who are you interested in here? Are you interested? I mean, or even a guy like Latavius Murray? Would you plug in Mike Boone here right off the bat? What do we do?
Throw in Kendall Hinton.
Okay. And look, this $200 position here, this is just our dart throw. It's our placeholder. So you could rotate any of these guys in and out. We'll probably be using Hinton as our example quite a bit, but don't play Hinton in 100% of your lineups. This is meant to be rotated out. Who's next? We got about 5,800 for 2 spots. We're in pretty good shape here.
Actually, I want to try something. Throw in Latavius Murray.
Okay.
I know this is 3-3, but I want to see where it ends
10.1K.
up with it.
We can get ourselves Courtland Sutton easily with a little bit of money left over. So this ends up being a 2-4. Or you can go down. Yeah, obviously you can get Gordon. Look, you'd have to go all the way down to Josh Kelly to get this 3 Chargers in this, which I don't want to do. So right now, Eckler and Herbert with 4 guys run back. I think we should F off Latavius Murray, or at least replace him with Hinton or whatever. But let's try to get 2 more Chargers in here. So I do think you could go, man. Do you want to go with a guy like? I mean, we could go Gerald Everett, or we could go with Josh Palmer. They're right about the same price.
I think you can do both.
You can. Yeah, you can. 5,800. Yeah. Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, I like that. Now, I mean, punting you got Russell Wilson and then Kendall Hinton. So you have Russ and then you're punting at the other Denver position.
Yeah.
So this is kind of less competitive game script here.
Yeah.
But, again, like I'm fine with it. This could be it, right? I mean, even Ferguson was the only person from, oh, no, you had Ezekiel Elliott, right? So just you have one stud and then one absolute punt, and you're still doing okay if the punt does all right.
Yeah. So these are the kind of lineups you're going to have to build, but there are a lot of options because we do have a couple of cheaper guys. You can even, put in Latavius Murray instead of Hinton, but it's still a risk. It's still a huge risk. Let's do one more lineup here. Who do you want to build with?
Let's actually do Jerry Jeudy at captain.
Okay. So Jerry Jeudy,
and then
Russ and Herb.
Throw in Herb and Eckler as well.
Okay. Let's see. Austin Eckler. We haven't done any Mike Williams, so I'll have to remember to obviously plug him in quite a bit. But we got 7,100. So this is like the kicker range, or you punt, and you can get a mid-range guy like Palmer or Everett or one of these guys, or even Boone. Do you want to just plug Boone in and see where we're at?
Yeah.
All right, let's put in Mike Boone. 2,300. What does that get us here? Probably no man's land, right? I mean, you could do Saubert if he plays. You could do Lat Murray. There's a lot of options here. I just don't. This is a 4-2. This is not bad. I just don't want to. I don't know, man. This fucking Denver, man. I don't know what to do. Do you like line up like this?
Swap out Eckler for Mike Williams.
Okay.
Maybe this
Mike
will give
Williams.
us enough to come off of Lat Murray.
3,100. KJ Hamler. Yeah.
That's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
It's a little bit better.
Let's build one more lineup here. Let's go with Courtland Sutton here at captain. So Courtland Sutton, I chose him obviously because he gets the volume and he's relatively inexpensive considering how much he caught or what he can put out. So let's do Courtland Sutton and like Melvin Gordon or Mike Boone, either one. But let's go with Melvin Gordon just for this lineup, and then let's plug in Herbie and we're gonna have to choose between Mike Williams or Austin Eckler, most likely. What do you think? Williams in this lineup?
Yeah, let's go with Williams.
All right, 7,600. So we can do like, you can do kicker. We could punt. We got plenty of options. Do you want to try plugging in like Hopkins in here? What does that get us? Doesn't get us much. It doesn't really get us much. Broncos defense as well, but let's pull him out. You want to punt again?
Well, let's see. Can you throw in Parham? Donald Parham? I don't know if he's going to even be active, but
yeah,
he's
1.4K. Not a terrible punt. 6,200. Sony Michel, Josh Palmer. That's not terrible. You got Herbert, Williams, Parham, Palmer. I like to get a running back involved here, but not terrible. Dude, there's no lineups that I'm liking here.
Go from Melvin Gordon, go down to Mike Boone.
Okay. And then we can get rid of these two guys here and we'll start fresh. Mike Boone.
Go from Williams to Eckler.
Okay. All right, 2 spots left.
You want to throw in Hopkins again?
Yeah, Hopkins.
I think it just puts us in the same spot. But you got
6,200. Yeah, 6,200. Michelle or Palmer. All right, I don't hate that. I hate the slate.
I like it better than having Palmer, the tight end, and Mike Williams, right? I don't think all 3 of those guys are hitting the one lineup.
So we didn't give you guys a ton of great examples for lineups. I don't like a lot of lineups that I've been building before we got on the show, which is a reason why I'm probably not going to play as many tonight. But what are your thoughts, Ellie? What do we do here tonight? What are your thoughts on roster construction? Are you maxing out 4 Broncos, 2 Broncos? What do you think?
Actually, I think I'm going to have a little bit more exposure to Denver than I would. So kind of like last night where I said I was fading heavy Cowboys builds. Tonight, I'm not going to be doing the same for the Broncos. I'm going to be building with heavy builds, hoping that they can be competitive against a team that's allowing 27 points per game. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. If you're playing a defense that allows 27 points per game in the NFL, you're going to have a hard time stopping a top 12 quarterback. Russ is annoying as hell, but he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and this is a great opportunity for Denver to get right.
What are your predictions for final score, and who do you think can randomly score in this game?
Randomly score, I think it's going to be Albert O. I think he's probably going to randomly score 2 touchdowns and just say fuck off to everybody that's ever played fantasy. But other than that, man, like I think the final score is going to end up being closer to like 34-27 LA.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 31-21 or something LA in this game, but it wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if the Broncos randomly won this game. That's just kind of
12-3.
Yeah, 12-3, 12-9, 12 like something. One of these shitty scores. And if you think that we're going to be on the low end of scoring and we hit the under by far, load up on your defenses, load up on your kickers, run game, that kind of stuff. That's just kind of how it is. I think Latavius Murray can score a touchdown if he's active today. But we'll see. Join the Discord, guys. We're going to get a little bit deeper into it tonight as we get closer to lock once we see inactives. We can't really build final lineups as we saw last night with Schultz being inactive at the last moment. You just can't really fully build these lineups until you see who's playing and who's not. So join the Discord. It's free. We're going to be in there talking about stuff. And also give us a follow and like the video. We appreciate you. We'll see you for Thursday Night Football. Good old Cardinals. We got the absolutely dog shit Cardinals, our team. I'm going to be excited to just absolutely trash them for 40 minutes for Thursday. Good luck tonight, guys. We'll see you later.